Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 33 of the video series in which we program an entire video game from scratch in the C programming language. Last time where we left off was, I'll show you, we finished loading our gigantic overworld map and blending it to the screen. So now it looks like our little dude is walking around on grass, and there's some water over here. Um, Obviously, I shouldn't be able to walk on the water right now, but I can. This is because we haven't. We need to load a tile map to go along with this. So I don't think I want to do that just yet, though. There's one thing that I really want to. There's one thing that I really want to do that I've been talking about doing for several episodes now, and I've been procrastinating and putting it off. And what I want to do first is it's time to start breaking our source code up into multiple files. Because this main.c is getting it's getting more unwieldy by the episode, so I would like to clean it up. The issue is that I really have no idea how I'm going to do that. I'm really just going to try to wing it and see what happens. So when you're deciding on how to split up your source code files, obviously there are lots of ways you can do it. You can also not do it at all, but we're going to do it because I think it would make the code a lot cleaner and easier to navigate, which is just going to help us down the road. I mean, as we continue this project, it's kind of going to its return on investment is going to increase because we're going to have an easier time navigating the source code. So anyway, my first thought, and again, I'm just sort of making this decision arbitrarily. My first thought is to break the source code up into files according to game states. So, for example, if I add a file here to my source code and I call it, I'm going to call it opening splash screen.c, and that. So now if I go to Alright, I'm going to take this PPI opening splash screen function, and I'm going to take it out of here. I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm going to do the same thing with the draw opening splash screen function. I'm going to grab it, grab the whole thing, cut it out of there, paste it in here. As you can see, that generated a lot of new errors because now we have this separate C file that doesn't have definitions for any of this stuff because we haven't added any include files or not. So the question then becomes, do I want to I'm going to take that function declaration, and I'm trying to decide if I should put it here. No. I'm going to create a new header file. Let's try this. New header file. Let's see, opening slash screen.h. Whoops. Okay. Now the only errors left here are these global variables that are defined in main.c. And I know that I can't define them twice, so so the way to share global variables between different source code files is to use the extern keyword. And so I think we should probably move the definition for G performance data into this H file and make it external or extern. It basically allows the compiler to share the variable amongst translation units or compilation units, I guess. So let me go do that. Take it out of main.c. We'll put it into main.h. And as you can see, the warning or error for G performance data has gone away. So I think main.h now becomes more like common.h. I might rename it to something like that because it's going to contain common things that are shared amongst different C files. All right, let's finish. Let's get the rest of these. We need to do the same thing to the back buffer. Wherever it may be. There it is. Okay, so G sound splash screen is an interesting one because we know that that global variable it's only relevant to the opening splash screen. So maybe instead of putting it in main.h, which is where we're going to have stuff that's common across all these different game states, maybe I put it in opening splash screen.h instead, which then leads to game sound being undefined. And then if I do I'll put it in opening splash screen.c. Okay. All right, now the game states, we know we need to go get those. Game state, these three game states. And you know what? G desired game state, we don't even use that, do we? I feel like we may end up using that later because I think I want to. I think I'm going to want to implement a system where when you start to transition into another game state, like say you, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good example. I had a really good idea for desired game state at one point, but I can't really think of it right now, so I'm just going to delete it. All right, I'm going to take my game states and move them into main.h and extern them. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Game input. That's definitely going to be common across multiple game states. Yep, our font. H. What happened here? All right, wonderful. That's pretty bizarre. G sound splash screen. Undefined. So it is shared across multiple game states. I can't define the splash sound here in opening splash screen.c because I load the opening splash screen sound in main.c in WinMain. So it is shared across multiple files. So I'm going to go put it with my other extern variables. I'm going to delete those. I'm going to delete this, remove, delete, and I'm going to go to main.h. Unresolved external symbol. Current game state already defined in main obj. Where? Main. Okay, so I I've declared all of these variables as extern, but not um, like these variables have declaration, but not a definition. But I'm putting them all in main.h, and I'm including main.h in all of my C files. So maybe the extern keyword is redundant here. Maybe if I building two errors, one or more multiply defined symbols found. Current game state already exists or already defined in main.obj. Okay, so I'm compiling again. Let's get rid of all these errors, which are, I'm pretty sure, coming from windows.h. I'm basically just trying to squelch these warnings again from the header files that we don't have any control over. Where malloc.h. I wonder where that comes from. Well, you know what? Let's just... Oh, look, I included that twice. Don't need that. Now, I don't think... Okay. fine. Alright, so that was pretty touch and go. And I'm not sure I like it. So basically the only thing that we won is that we were able to move the implementations of these functions into their own files. So, I mean, that's still somewhat of a win, but did it make our code any easier to understand or less confusing? Not so sure about that. Yeah, we didn't need extern on those function declarations either. Okay. Let's do the title screen next. I'm going to create a new source file. I'm going to call it title screen.c. Title screen.c is going to start with include main.h, and then I can basically hopefully do the same thing that I did with opening splash screen, which is to take draw title screen right there, and move it into here. And take PPI, title screen, process player input. Put it down here. Now, of course, we have more stuff we have to move into main.h, starting with gplayer. Into main.h. And G menu. So what we need to do with this is take menus.h out of main.c and move it into main.h. Which I have to put it after. Actually, maybe I could put it somewhere like menu. Okay. Can't go there because those things have not been defined yet. How about there? Rebuild. Yikes. 145 errors. Nice. Very nice. Oh, I sure hope I don't regret doing this. Okay. Main.c. Draw options screen. See, we'll take the PPI option screen function, put that into option screen.c. All right, 205 errors now. See, apparently the thing with these is when I don't assign a value to these global variables, they're just declarations. But as soon as I assign a value to them, they become definitions. Like that. That's a definition, a variable definition, that's a variable declaration. And apparently the linker doesn't like it when I define these things. Okay, let's keep going. We are forging ahead. Exit, yes, no, screen.c. So I think we're going to end up making the menus.h file redundant, or get rid of it. It looks like that's what's going to happen. Exit, yes, no. yes, no. Now let's go back over here and get the PPI. Exit yes, no. All right, 225 errors, which I think is a record. Character naming screen.c. H. Let's go get the menus. Let out of here. Draw character naming. Get it out of here. Put it in here. Let's see, PPI character naming. Oh Lord. You know, if this ends up working, it's going to have one other positive side effect too, in that something that I wanted to talk about was these pound defines, the way that they're scoped. I didn't like it because when you have these pound defines inside of a function, you sort of assume, or at least I do, you sort of think about these things, these definitions, as being scoped to this function, as like they're only within scope within this function, right? The answer is no. Actually, it defines them for the entire compilation unit, basically the entire file. Um, so that I really didn't like. I didn't really like doing that. So I'm actually kind of glad that we're breaking these apart into separate files, because you know I would really prefer that these only have meaning within the scope of this function. But this is the next best thing, you know. And I only wrote them to make it more convenient, and as opposed to just using integers, numbers, because you know I should also change that one. But anyway, let's finish fixing this mess. what a mess we have gotten ourselves into. Okay. This can go menu item, character naming, add. You know what? Add and back and okay. All of these can go. Take them out of main.c and put them into character naming screen.c. What does that mean? No, that would be incorrect. Character naming. Oh wait. What did I just put in here? But not add. Character naming. Building, building, building. Wow. It actually built successfully. That's incredible. Okay, this is going a little bit better now. I feel a little bit better. So I was afraid that was going to turn into a disaster, and then I was going to have to back everything out. However, now that we've sort of gutted this menus.h file, seems kind of like we don't need it anymore. So I'm going to take these structure definitions, put them in main.h. And I'm going to take menu, resume, start new options, exit. Menus.h. Remove, delete, goodbye. We'll probably be missing some. Oh, yeah, I need to take it out of here. Menu, item, character naming, add. See, this function declaration is just letting the compiler know that that function is going to show up somewhere, and then we can define it later on anywhere else. Misspelling. Oh. Okay. Alright, exit, yes, no. We'll just go through these. But you know what? The only thing I don't like about this is that now I have them listed twice up here in this drop-down menu because I have the function declaration and the function definition both together in the same file, which I don't really like. So we can do include, not that. We can do include character naming screen.h, and I have to create it. Character naming screen.h. Add, not those, these. So I'm going to try to keep this clean and consistent by putting my declarations in the .h file and my definitions in the .c file. And recall that if you assign a value to a variable, that becomes a variable definition as opposed to a variable declaration, which goes in the C file. Definitions go in the C file. And that also gives us the nice cosmetic benefit of only having each of these functions listed once in this drop-down menu here, which, you know, it's just an aesthetic thing for Visual Studio. We have to go do the same for the rest of the game states, though. But I feel better. I feel like there was a moment there where I felt like, oh, I might have just messed up this entire project. And I would end up having to like reset the entire, like call the entire day a wash, reset the entire project from last episode. Which maybe I should do one of these days just to demonstrate how it's done. That's one of the great things about GitHub. You know, we can always restore to a previous state using Git, right? Anyway, all right, let me finish these up. So I think opening splat, let's see, no, let's, PPI and draw. There we go. Take these out of here. Add new item. Opening splash screen.h. Add. There we go. Opening splash screen.c. Did it again. include opening splash screen.h. Okay, I feel like we're done there. Character naming, did that. Character naming .c. We're good on that. I think that game state is done. Let's do an exit yes no screen. Add new item .h. And in here we shall put yes no, yes no. Option screen.h. We're going to do this for every game state. The goal is to eliminate all of these, so they'll no longer be in main.h, of course. These function definitions, you probably caught on to that already. Now we need option screen.c. We need these guys. Option screen. Option screen. Music volume. Option screen, screen size. Option screen back. Okay, they're going down. The number of errors is going down. Menu item, title screen. Yes, yes, yes. New item. Title screen.h. Add. Include title screen.h. And we can put both of these in title screen.h, and the menu items also need to go in there. Okay, what's next? Okay, we succeeded, but with warnings. And the funny thing is when it says something is undefined, assuming extern returning int, that's not actually a warning. That's a hard error. Our program will not work in that state. So, see, that's main.c. Where? Oh, look at that. Interesting. And that's going to be the case for all the game states. So PPI title screen, title screen.h. I'm looking at it. That means I have to go back to main.c. Okay, that's getting old. Include title screen.h. option screen, include exit yes, no, include character naming screen.h. Include name splash. I didn't put them in here. We still have to implement these two things. So we're almost done. I'm going to search for PPI character naming throughout the entire solution. Yep, got it there. Character naming, that's the definition. Okay, so for some, I just deleted the function declaration and I just deleted it and didn't add it back to character naming screen.h. So I'm going to assume I did the same thing here. Draw character naming. Okay. Let's add a new item. We're going to call it gamepad unplugged.c. Okay, that's fine. Draw gamepad unplugged. Take that out of there. Gamepad unplugged. And I suppose now I should put these pound defines in gamepad unplugged.h, which goes here. Create header file gamepad unplugged.h. Let's go here. And we need to put gamepad ID into main.h probably. Ugh. That's a weird opening splash screen is cut off right there, and I don't know why. It's a graphical bug, I guess, because it has the full file name right there and right there. I just can't see it right there. I don't know why. Anyway, main.h. Need to put these. Gamepad unplugged. And I just went to ready. It didn't say build succeeded, so. Oh, there we go. There we go. Errors popped up in all these places. Oh, yep. It's because we defined it in main.h. Can't have a definition there. What we will do is we're going to go back to main.c. We're going to go back to winmain g gamepad id equals -1. That ought to sort that out. Building, building, building. Rebuild succeeded. Okay. That should be able to go. And that should be able to go. So the only thing we have left is overworld. Okay, everything is working. And I've split everything up into multiple game states. Now I'm going to do the same for Overworld, but needless to say, we are well out of time. And you already know how it goes, so you don't really need to watch me do it. But that was relatively successful. So one thing that I didn't get to do though is I didn't really get to show you the benefit of the extern keyword, and I thought I was, but it turns out I didn't use it at all. So it will probably come up again in the future, but it did not come up on this episode. We did, however, get our source code split out into mini files so that our main.c file doesn't have all this stuff in it. It doesn't have nearly as much stuff in it. In fact, these need to go. I'm still finding more stuff that needs to go. Exit yes, no. exit yes no dot C. Main dot C. Okay. Taking both of these function definitions out of here and putting them into exit yes no screen dot C. And there we go. Game window now needs to be put into main.h. So we still have a lot of stuff to move out of main.c, but you do get the idea. Game window. Out you go, and into main.h. Building. See, now the build takes a lot longer because I have all these different files. So the linker has a lot more work to do because it has to find and resolve all of these symbols that are scattered around in multiple different files. So now the build takes longer, which kind of stinks. I don't really like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'll think about that. So I'm going to call it for today. So as always, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to leave your questions or comments on the videos. I will address any interesting comments or questions in an upcoming episode. Also, don't forget that we have a companion GitHub repository. I keep it updated along with every episode so that you can follow along at home. And lastly, if you want to see me continue and finish this game and finish this project, please like and subscribe and tell your friends and all that good stuff. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye.